Good morning, Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles, and welcome to the day. We're going to be excited about being alive today. I woke up this morning joyful as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. I woke up this morning joyful as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. Sing it. I woke up this morning joyful as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. I woke up this morning joyful as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I sleep. 'Cause I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. How about we do grateful? I woke up this morning grateful as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. I woke up this morning grateful as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. Sing it! I woke up this morning grateful as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. I woke up this morning grateful as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. 'Cause I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. Sing it. I love being alive. Yes, I do. It's the greatest thing about my life. I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. Now, it's been a while since I've sung this song with y'all, but you might remember that I also wake up in the morning as playful as can be. And that can cause me to sing some of these lyrics pretty playfully. So I encourage you to be playful as well. You're gonna hear a lot of weird voices and maybe some meowing. I woke up this morning playful as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. Starting off normal. I woke up this morning playful as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. I woke up this morning playful as can be. That's how I spend my day and that's how I'll sleep. I woke up this morning playful as can be. Meow, 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 meow. And I love being alive. Yes, I do. It's the greatest thing about my life. Oh, I love being alive. Meow, 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 meow. I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. Making myself laugh. I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. Two more times. I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. Here we go. I love being alive. It's the greatest thing about my life. Thanks for getting silly with me.
You silly, silly, silly kitty, you.
Meow.
Meow. Jessica Powers. I love it. I love it. I love it. So much fun, as we all need right now. Fun and frivolity and upbeatness as a beatnik, you know.
Yeah, can't forget to
So
have fun.
much.
It's important.
And two pieces within that I know that since a large portion of our community is on Medicare or above, much like myself, I love that we're reminded that the greatest thing about being alive is being alive. And that we get to make a decision that not only do the way that we live our lives every day, but we also get good sleep at night. So, you know, which is important for all of us. But for those that may have a challenge getting to sleep and staying asleep, that's a great musical affirmation. So,
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Well, thank you. I'm so happy we're sharing this time together, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. And I know that you are joining us from Ohio in the midst of packing up and moving to a different location for home, albeit in the same town right now. So you got a full day ahead of you. So thank you for carving out this time to share your light with us.
Always. I'm so happy to be here.
Good. Well, we'll see you in a bit. Hello, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and welcome to our Sunday morning celebration service. If you're joining us live via YouTube and or through Zoom, know that just where you are, the divine is. It is Sunday, June 22nd in the year 2025, and we come together to celebrate the uniqueness of spirit that is you, and to remember that first and foremost, and as well as to have some fun and to be stimulated and to be inspired and to celebrate the force of life that we all have within us and our ability to choose to use it in a way that propagates good for ourselves and for others. And so know that exactly where you are is the perfect and right expression of life in the perfect and right moment, doing and expressing the perfection of the thing itself, and in so doing, participating in causing an experience for your life and all of our lives that propagates good, that we remember who we are as divine beings navigating their humanity. And so today we're going to do a lot of our multimedia, and I'm excited to share some of that, and we'll talk about it in just a moment. But as we kick off, we are June 22nd in the year 2025, and our vision statement for our community is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And so a big hello to each and every one of you, whether you're joining us live today or at a later date. We do indeed say hello and almost goodbye to the month of June, which has been fantastic. And as we look at June here, and as a month, our theme is June Groom, It's Time. I invite us all to take a moment to anchor ourselves, and do that through the act of looking at the light flickering on the screen, as well as to remember that when we move into the act of namaste, that we open up that portal, if you will, of receptivity in our mind, which is maybe not physical, but certainly one that we can imagine in our being, that not only honors the light that is within, but brings in that energy that is the energy of the divine itself. And so I invite us all, no matter where you are, unless you're driving and you don't have auto drive on your car, to, if it's safe for you, to open your hands, open your mind, open your breath by taking a big, deep breath in. When you exhale, pull our hands together in prayer position, bending forward, exhaling, and saying together, Namaste. And so as a community, we come together to remember who we are as divine beings navigating our humanity, and to remember that we're imbued with the power of choice, which is an individualized expression of the only thing there is, which is divine energy, the creative force of all life. And in so doing, accept the call in life to be a difference or a change agent. And so the vision statement for our community for many years was simply making a difference. It's evolved into the journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, all meaning that it's incumbent upon each of us to remember who we are to the best of our ability, that we're beings of light that are imbued with peace and power and beauty and joy and life and love and wisdom, as well as light. And because we're mental beings, we're always at choice in life, and being one with the great mind of the divine itself, we do reflect those qualities that it is. And remember that as we make our choices in life of how we use our mind, we live in a universe that's governed by spiritual law. And as a result of that, we get to experience life reflective to the totality of our belief system, which then gives us the opportunity at a very basic statement that if we don't like what's going on in our life, to simply tune into the reality that we can change our thinking and ultimately change our life. A great way to remember that is to move into our morning ritual that we open our service with each and every Sunday morning, and today is no exception. Just anchoring ourselves into the awareness and receptivity of the intent behind this ritual. It's called calling in the light. And I invite each of us to open up and receive these words. to look at the flickering flame in the orb on the screen and let it be a reminder to us of the light that exists within us as we move forward, calling in the light. Today we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths and all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. The purpose of this ritual and our repeating it, which is what a ritual is each and every Sunday morning, is to continue and to expand into our gathering a more conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities that we possess as complete expressions of the divine, those qualities that I affirmed and stated a bit earlier. Peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom. We're imbued with those, and not limited to just those, but to remember those. And that as we feel the vibration shift during this experience of this ritual, may we each individually and collectively become ever more aware of the light of life that exists in and as all expressions of life, which includes you and it includes me. During this time of turmoil on our planet, it's important for us to remember these words. My affirmation for us in the form of a prayer today is an Apache blessing. When we use the word may, it does certainly seem to be as an invitation or a supplication, but we use it as a declaration, as if we're saying, I am. It is. This is the truth. And so let's hear these words as a catalyst for a new way for each of us to think and act, beginning right now. May the sun bring you new energy by day. May the moon softly restore you by night. May the rain wash away your worries, and may the breeze blow new strength into your being. May you walk gently through the world and know its beauty all the days of your life. As we hear these words, affirm with them and align them, I invite us all to be willing to let them take greater hold in our being. And we do that through the power of our words, such as I accept, I receive, I believe. We shall expand on this by singing the song Calling in the Light, which is a call and response song. It gives us the opportunity to further use our voice and to anchor into the energy of healing that takes place as a result of it, not only today, but every time it's been sung. Jesse will take us through it and let us know when it's time for the call and response, even though you can sing all the words that you know, and they are indeed on the screen. Jesse?
Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. Repeat after me. I am love, I am love, I am peace in my heart. I am free, I am spirit, I am spirit, I am soul, I am soul. All together we are whole. Calling in the light, calling in the light. calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love.
Ah, we can feel it. Feel it, feel it, feel it. The light is present as you and as me. Right? Healing, it is definitely a healing modality, music and the awareness and receptivity, right? That when things do seem to be a bit askew on the experience level of life, and our teaching and our philosophy of faith and way of life, we are reminded to remember that we are always at choice, that we always get to make a decision to turn the other cheek, right? So my understanding of that metaphysically is we don't turn the other cheek as if we're being slapped with it. It's to gain a new perspective, and albeit it being maybe just a little minimal, and it's still a new perspective. So wonderful.
Yes.
So you have another song for us. I don't know why I'm seeing you on my screen, but you're not on the big screen. So I guess that's the way the settings are set up, that we're both not being shared.
That's weird.
Anyway, so you have another song for us, huh?
I do. Yeah. Actually, I thought of this song I don't often sing anymore, but it's kind of an anthem for choosing to let go of holding on to the idea that there's always something wrong.
Oh, well, good. Well, I'm looking forward to you taking it away.
All right. This is called Rise. These days I've been having trouble waking up. I'd rather stay asleep than try to believe in a higher love. I think I'm fooling everybody else. I say that I know that I'm loved, but I don't, 'cause I'm still punishing myself. You ever feel like that? And I've been holding it in, this brilliant light. They told me it was intimidating, so I've been keeping it inside. But when I woke up this morning, I realized that something this bright is destined to rise. So I gotta rise. I'm gonna rise up from my bed, get into my body and out of my head. I'm letting go of holding on to the notion that something's always wrong. I'm incredible, it's beautiful, this life that I live. So I'm gonna hold my head high like the queen that I am, living my life for the wonder that it is. These days I've been having trouble getting mine. I've been stuck still in a tiny bubble, just watching my life roll by. I get anxious, I'm afraid of everyone else, but to be honest, it just gets worse when I'm alone with myself sometimes, see? 'Cause I've been holding it back, this power inside, too scared to act. So I live in my mind, but now I see power is in my nature. Just like day comes after night, naturally I gotta rise, I've gotta rise. So I'm gonna rise up from my bed, get into my body and out of my head. I'm letting go of holding on to the notion that something's always wrong. I'm incredible, it's beautiful, this life that I live. So I'm gonna hold my head high like the queen that I am, living my life for the wonder that it is. It ain't enough to just believe. No, no, no. Living life is a physical kind of spirituality. It ain't just in the movement of your mind, it's the movement of your feet. It's in the steps that you take. It's the body alive. It's the love that you make. It's the way that you rise. So I'm gonna rise up from my bed, get into my body and out of my head. I'm letting go of holding on to the notion that something is wrong. I'm gonna rise up from my bed, knowing that something's always wrong. I'm incredible, it's beautiful, this life that I live. You're incredible, it's beautiful, this life that you live. We're incredible, it's beautiful, this life that we live. So I'm gonna hold my head high like the queen that I am. Are you gonna hold your head high like the king or queen you are? Oh, I'm gonna hold my head high, hold my head high, hold my head high, hold my head high, hold my head high like the queen that I am, living my life for the wonder that it is.
How fantastic.
Thank you.
Love it. It speaks to choice,
Yes.
right? Choice, choice,
Yes.
choice. We're always at choice.
Always a choice from the moment we wake up to the moment we
Yeah.
fall asleep.
Well, and even sometimes while we're asleep, we might be at choice, you know?
True.
You know? One of my favorite metaphysical quotes, which our community has heard many times by Gary Zukav, which is choice is the engine of evolution. If you choose consciously, you will evolve consciously. If you choose unconsciously, you will evolve unconsciously. He goes on to say, trust me, conscious is far better than unconscious. Been there, done that. Then he goes on to say, choice is the second greatest gift we've been given, second only to the gift of life itself.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love being at choice.
All right, my love. See you in a bit. So as I said earlier, but I don't know why I'm fumbling over my words. I'll go back and reframe it. During the height of COVID, when we went on Zoom initially, I created all kinds of really fun multimedia presentations for us on Sunday mornings. And I have a library of those to choose from. And this morning, I decided I'm going to use one because I spent out. For one thing, they're really good. Second off, they're impactful. Third, I think we'll enjoy them. And fourth, and not necessarily in that order, I spent hours putting them together before. I mean, hours. Sometimes it would take me 8 or 9 hours put together one of them, and you'll see that as evidenced by the quality of them. But one that we had done years ago, or I had done years ago, on the theme of June gloom. And since we've been playing with that theme this month, I thought how appropriate to use that and add in some tweaks to it. So without further ado, let's dive into it, and may you be inspired as well as entertained. And so we move right into it and get through this first slide. Here we go. June gloom. Oh, hell no, no June gloom. And June gloom, as you will hear when we go to address it, if you do not live in Southern California, really is a thing. What? The puppy says? What you mean June gloom is really a thing? Oh, hell no, it ain't. But here's what June gloom is. It's a phenomenon dubbed June gloom. It's one of the things that no California visitors bureau or publicist wants to talk about, but every California resident who lives within 100 miles of the coast knows. So what's the big secret? And I was laughing about having this as our theme today and the visuals that we'll have through this multimedia presentation, because as it says, it's simple. California's beaches aren't always sunny and warm, despite what you see in the movies and on television. I had on the television last night, glued to it with the bombing in Iran, and one of the newscasters had come on and was telling the weather for today, and in her studio, which was a glass floor, and or probably a screen, really a floor and backdrop, which appeared as if she was standing on top of the weather of Los Angeles, was just one big dark gray cloud. And she was speaking how June gloom is present and will be till midday on Sunday. Well, it's now 10:54 a.m. in Southern California, and it's sunny and bright, but that's not always the case, and it wasn't certainly earlier. June gloom. Oh, hell no. So if you think of California as permanently being 80 degrees and sunny everywhere, boy, are you in for a surprise. Just when you'd expect the weather to be at its summery best, June and July and May, it isn't. So often, even with Californians, we're like, oh, it's cloudy and damp and cold. It doesn't feel like summer. And yet, even as Travis and Jesse and I were speaking of this morning, summer really hits here late July, August, September, and really October as far as warm weather. Goes on to tell us here. In fact, May and June are the cloudiest months of the year along the California coast. During those months, it may only be sunny about half the time. And so gloom. Why do we want to talk about the weather? Well, of course, we're not talking about just the weather. Gloom is defined as 1, a partial or total darkness, and 2 is defined as a state of depression or despondency. Today, it's that state of depression or despondency I want to address, not operating under the assumption that we're all in a state of depression or despondency, but to look at life through the lens that certainly if we are allowing ourselves to be subject to the effects of the world and we are conscious, awake, alert metaphysicians, or just anyone with a sense of kindness or compassion, there is an opportunity for there to be, even at moments or more than moments, a state of depression or despondency. My invitation today is not for us to pretend as if that doesn't exist, but to help create a new perspective, a new way to have a new state of mind, because gloom, that darkness, is indeed a state of mind. I love this particular quote here, is gloomy is as gloomy does. Why does that ring true for us? Because whatever state of mind we're in does indeed manifest itself in form if it becomes a predominant state of mind, a belief, if you will, a way of living. Because it's important for us to remember that we do indeed live in a universe that's governed by spiritual law. And the great Ernest Holmes himself tells us that the law of life responds to us, our state of being, through an act of correspondence. In other words, it provides to us, through us, experiences in life that is reflective to the way that we think and believe and act and interact with life itself. So, then are we to live in a state of gloom? No, we want to look in the opposite of gloom. I love the parrots on the screen, or they're not really parrots, they're more like, what are those birds? I'm going blank.
Pigeons.
Pigeons. Thank you, Jesse. Or the pigeons. One in a red hat and one in a graduate's hat, right? One says, what's the opposite of gloom? And the other one says, it's happiness, joy. Thank you, Jesse. Happiness, joy, light, gladness, delight, cheerfulness, joyfulness, cheer, brightness, contentment. What it's obviously telling us here is that in those moments when we may be experiencing gloom, to acknowledge it and become aware of it, and then to open our minds so that we have freedom to allow the darkness to disappear. And we do that by consciously engaging in, to the best of our ability, a bit of happiness or joy or light or gladness or delight or cheerfulness or joyfulness or cheer or brightness or contentment, or all of those states of being. Even if we were just to tune into the act of contentment, remembering that it's through the act of choosing to be content with the fact that we may not be at the highest vibration at the moment, but to remember that we are always at choice, and through our choice we get to decide the journey that we're on and the ultimate destination that we are choosing to manifest in our life, which leads us directly to our theme for the month, June Groom. Changing out the L of gloom to an R with groom. It's time. Throughout the month, we've looked at the act of grooming as a training of our mind to both use it in a way that is effectively for all of us, but to also remember who we are as beings that are imbued with peace and power and beauty and joy. It's the joy that I'd like for us to look at right now by remembering this spiritual truth. So let the sunshine in, face it with a grin, smilers never lose and frowners never win. Cute, cutesy, fun, stupid even. But if we look at it through the lens of an act of healing and choosing to smile, even when it may feel challenging to do so, the act of the smile itself activates something within us. And it brings forth the activation of the inherent joy that we all have within us. And then indeed brings the sunshine in, literally, maybe not so much as sunshine itself, but certainly activates that within us, which is the field of awareness of what transpires when we do exactly as we spoke of in the ritual earlier called calling in the light. It's about making a decision to bring forth and to expand and to embody and to emanate light. This morning on my walk with Sweeney, I was listening to the great Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith preach, really was what he was doing. And he was reminding us that no matter what in life, no matter what's going on in the world, to remember that we are beings of emanation, that we get to choose to the best of our ability to emanate light, but also to remember that if we're not emanating light, we're emanating something, because we are beings of energy with frequencies that radiate from us, but we're also mental beings, and so we have within us the capacity to make a choice. And to remember that if we can't do that for ourselves, to reach out and invite others to do it for ourselves, or to reach out and tune into something such as Sunday mornings at Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, or a meditation, or a previous one of those, to bring back our awareness and our remembrance to who we are as divine beings. The last part of the slide says that if you have good thoughts, they will shine out of your face like sunbeams, and you will always look lovely. Now you might look stupid, but you'll feel lovely, and that's really what matters, is how you feel, because it's from that emanation that you indeed change your thinking, changing your life. In other words, choose to bring forth the light that's already there. Remember, when we speak of calling in the light, we're not doing it solely as an invitation to invite in that which is external. It's to bring forth a remembrance of that which is omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, meaning all-knowing, all-present, all-powerful. It's already there within us. And so as we go about the journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, of making a difference in our lives, moment by moment, thought by thought, reaction by reaction, interaction by interaction, instead of getting into a battle with that which is dark, either internally or what we're experiencing in the external, it's important to then make a decision to bring forth the light. And by shining the light, letting the light that is internal then make itself present and known and illuminate the way before us, what it does is it gives us the opportunity to shine our light on the road ahead, which can then help bring others through the darkness. I want to look at this concept of bringing others through the darkness, and that is not an egoic statement, and it's not one necessarily to be heroic. It's about understanding that as we emanate and radiate the light that is innately within us, and because we're all beings of energy, and because we live in a universe that's governed by spiritual law, that which we choose to be and choose to express must return to us in form. And so by shining our light and the light on the road ahead, not only can it help us bring others through the darkness, but it helps us to tune into the frequency that magnifies and magnetizes that which we desire to experience, which is more and more and more of that which is innately our being, as well as that of others. And so it's not done from ego, it's done through a spiritual understanding of the way life works, about light magnifying light. It's not just a concept, it's a literal scientific fact. What happens to darkness when light comes in? And I love this visual on the screen because we see the darkness of the tunnel, and we can all relate to that in a literal sense of having gone through physical tunnels in our life, but also metaphorically, emotionally, mentally. We can relate to those moments when it feels as if the darkness is closing in. But let's remember this spiritual truth that darkness really does not have power relating to light. When you light a lamp, literally, the photons from the lamp bounce all over the room, and hence the darkness then disappears, so to speak. What truly happens is the absence of light no longer exists when there is the presence of light. Energetically, it dispels that which prior to was an absence of its presence. And I would take it a little deeper to say there in our world, it's not necessarily that there was an absence of its presence, but there may be an absence of our awareness of its presence. And our awareness is the key to the experience of it, to the manifestation of it, to the demonstration of it, because we're mental beings. And so let's let today be the day that we use this example, this physical example of lighting a room through light. I've got many lights on in this room, which you can't necessarily see on the screen, but because I am on screen and I'm in a really lit room, both by natural light and other types of artificial light, it has indeed driven out any darkness that would exist and then read on the screen. It is definitely about cultivating an environment that works for the betterment of life in the situation. My life, your life, all of life. What is that an example of? It's an example of choice. It's an example of understanding. It's an example of purpose. It's an example of intelligence, and it's an example of wisdom. All a part of an evolving consciousness. My consciousness, your consciousness, the consciousness. The great Martin Luther King taught us years ago to know this spiritual truth. That darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. What the great Dr. Martin Luther King is reminding us in these moments is that you and I are not solely at the effect of the effects that are unfolding in the world, our world, your world, whether that be bombs being dropped on countries, or whether it's other horrific acts in the world, as well as our own state of mind, that the only way to transform our state of being so that it reflects our divine nature is to tune in to that which is our divine nature, which includes peace and power and beauty and joy and life and love and wisdom and, of course, light. Light. Light as an energy field, light as an illumination, and light as a presence of being. And so today, you and I agree that today is the time for transformation. It's indeed time for a change, not making anything prior to this moment wrong, just understanding that it's utilizing the tools that we have within us, which is choice, which is perspective, which is opportunity. I intentionally put this graphic on here, which is a kaleidoscope, which is a reminder to us that at all times we have the ability to see things differently, independently, depending on how we tune into that which is. It is different because that which we're seeing is not one-dimensional. It's always moving, and it's also all dependent upon how we're seeing it and how we're holding it and what energy we're bringing to it and what energy we're responding to it with. A kaleidoscope is an optical instrument with two or more reflecting surfaces. It doesn't say there's two or more energies. It says two or more reflecting surfaces tilted to each other at an angle so that one or more parts of the objects on one end of these mirrors are shown as a symmetrical pattern when viewed from the other end due to repeated reflection. A lot to take in, but what does that mean? Let's keep going. These reflectors are usually enclosed in a tube, often containing on one end a cell with loose colored pieces of glass on another. Opaque materials to be reflective to the viewed pattern. Rotation of the cell causes motion of the materials, resulting in an ever-changing view. It's that ever-changing view that I want us to tune into right now. If you're viewing your life through this tube, what are you seeing? Is it bringing you joy? Is it bringing you power? Is it bringing you light and life and love and wisdom? And most importantly, is it bringing you beauty? The history of the word kaleidoscope, the etymology, the word term kaleidoscope was coined by its Scottish inventor David Brewster. It's derived from the ancient Greek word kalos, which translates to beautiful or beauty, or eidos. That which is seen, meaning that which is seen has the opportunity to be beauty or beautiful, to look to examine, hence observation of beautiful forms. What a great example for you and I to step into today, 11:10 a.m. Pacific time on this day, June 22nd in the year 2025, to make a commitment and a decision to ourselves that through this moment of change and transformation that we're opening ourselves to, that we're going to see no matter whatever changing things are happening in front of us, to see beauty, to see the divine, to see a reflection of that which we already are. Peace and power, and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. And to remember that we're not solely at the effect of that which is changing before us, because we are one with the energy force that provides through us the opportunity to be a co-creator of that which we experience in the manner in which we use our thinking, our believing, our acting, our reacting, and our interacting with the thing itself. In other words, how we use our light. How we use our light. Remembering that my acronym for light is this: living in God's healing truth. Well, what does that mean to you? God's healing truth. What it means to me in this moment is I'm ever so grateful that I have the ability to choose and that it responds in like kind. I'm ever so grateful to be able to understand the connectedness of life in a different way than I did yesterday and the day before. I'm eternally grateful to be able to share this journey with each of you and to honor our awakenings together. I'm ever so grateful that we live in a time and an age where we have at our disposal technology such as this so that we can share the evolution of humanity together. And I'm ever so grateful that I did the work several years ago to create these slides. And I'm ever so grateful that they mean something different to us today than they did when we were going through the consciousness of being locked down during the pandemic. And I'm ever so grateful that I get to know that one of the greatest things about being alive is living. And I'm ever so grateful that I get to experience the great Jessica Powers and her talent and her beauty. What this is all reminding us is that we're always, always, always standing on the precipice of co-creating that which is new by simply changing our thinking and ultimately changing our life. Yes, at the macro level, for sure, the evolution of humanity, but at the micro level of just simply having a simpler, more beautiful moment while life is ever, ever, ever changing before us. Last week in person, I shared this Franciscan spirit of title, Choosing Light Over Darkness. And I've been reading and rereading and sharing and listening and chanting and reading out loud this over and over this week to remind us of the power that we're imbued with and the spiritual truth of this writing. I'm going to read it to us right now so that we can hear it anew, choose to tune into it anew, and to also be reflective of the changes that have all happened in life just since last Sunday. And ask ourselves, did we use the power that it speaks of in this writing? It says we cannot tell the future. And so we cannot say with certainty what crises might occur in our lives and world tomorrow, next month, or next year. We can be certain that as long as people populate the earth and are wonderfully and frightfully human, there will undoubtedly be trouble that will adversely impact us, our families, and our communities. But we can be just as certain that we have a light inside, a spirit that inspires us and others, especially when crises arise. Moreover, each of us has talents, special and unique, that we can bring to bear before and after any of life's challenges. The stronger we allow ourselves to be, the more vigorously we will bring out light and talents to ourselves and others, whenever and wherever hurt may happen. That's telling us what we were told earlier about when we choose to smile and shine our light on onto the pathway. We help eliminate the darkness for ourselves and others. Today, I invite all of us to let this Franciscan spirit writing be a mantra and a charge and a commandment for each of us to be tuned into no matter what's going on in the external world, and to know that, yeah, a shift is occurring, and oftentimes the F's not going to be in the word, but we always have our light. We always have our light, and to remember to the best of our ability to shine it out into the world. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. And to remember, as the great Deepak Chopra tells us, there's a light within each of us that can never be diminished or extinguished. It can only be obscured. It can only be stirred by forgetting who we are. Well, then who are we? The question is presented. Well, we're beings of light. And we're all one light, really, interconnected, shining it together to the best of our ability. And to honor that light in ourselves and others, and to remember that it's through that awareness of beings of light and choosing to know that, and to choosing to call in the light and choosing to let it illuminate through us, that we will then engage in a moment that reflects the nature of peace. Rumi tells us that we're stars wrapped in skin. The light you are seeking has always been within. That we're not manifesting this light, in other words, creating it into its existence. We're reflecting that which is already there, just as the kaleidoscope collects it. And to tune into what it is that you believe in regards to the principles of life itself. For so many years in our philosophy, faith, and way of life, we would affirm each Sunday morning the declarations of principles. And on many levels, I missed that. It certainly brought healing to me on Sunday mornings in my journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And the reaffirmation of these principles helped remind me of who and what we are. They're easily accessible, and if you would like them, I can send them to you. But what I'd like for us to remember, that's stated and written by Dr. Ernest Holmes and published in 1926, are the ones that have the arrow on them right now, which is this: as consciously awake, alert students of the teachings of the science of mind and aligning with their principles, we believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. And we believe that heaven is within us. And we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. Today is the day that you and I have made a decision to become more and more consciously aware of the heaven that is within us. We've done that by choosing to tune in here, not because I'm stating it for us. I'm just simply the catalyst and the tool to remind us all of the spiritual truths that exist in that which we desire to express more and more in our life. And to remember that it's just one moment in heaven that will change it all for us, or one day in heaven. In other words, one moment, one thought, one belief, one day of heavenly thinking, realizing that it's already within us, attuning to the peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom that is already within us, and declaring it and affirming it and being it, and then allowing it to be emanated through us, that we have an experience that reflects it. I love to listen to a CD that was recorded by Michael Beckwith and many others called Transcendence. It's a play on the word transcendence. And on it, there's a song called One Day in Heaven. It's a chanty, rappy song, and it's just talks about. Choose to have one day, just one day in heaven. In other words, choosing to remember that we're already imbued with this glorified, magnificent power that is waiting to express itself more and more and more and more and more through us. He tells us, Beckwith, that the universe wants you to have more than enough so that it can deliver its gifts through you. It's there, ready to express more and more and more of itself through us. And he says this one day in heaven is this, that it's one day in heaven, a day in ever-expanding good. How do we tap into that ever-expanding good? We do it by making a decision that it's already there and we're ready to live it out and release it. He says in his rap, his affirmation, his statements, his musical elaboration of this feeling to do this on this journey of becoming awakened, to feel that you're so loved beyond your mental comprehension that you know that you are the center of the universe. You are the center of the universe. That's how you find your heavenly moment. And you are the center of the universe because the center is everywhere and the circumference is nowhere. And to know that because you are the center of the universe, that you are just so loved right now and everything is working in for your good right now, that you are about your Father, Mother, God's business right now to be on display for the isness, the nowness, the foreverness of the Spirit now. He says, and then it's important to just feel that spiritual truth. And it's when you feel all of this, that's the heaven. He goes, we're describing heaven, one day in heaven, a day in ever-expanding good. That's heaven. And then he goes on to tell us then to feel that with the heart behind the heart, to hear it with the ears behind the ears, and then to see life with the eyes behind the eyes. That's living one day in heaven. That's one day in heaven. And today, for you and I to remember as we continue on our journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening more and more and more and more and more to the best of our ability, not being dependent on feeling as if we're not tuned in or that the external is propagating our state of mind, but that to remember you and I have power. We are co-creators with God. We're not puppets on a string waiting for something to happen like the great Pinocchio. We're more like the cute little puppy behind there, moving freely and moving with power. We're not some puppet with some hand up in us, controlling who and what we are. We're independent beings of life, choosing to groom in June. Yes, it's time. And what does that groom mean? It means that we've opened ourselves up to use our power, to train our mind, to choose and believe that the one day of heaven is today. It is right now, this moment. And then it's the next moment, and it's the next moment, and the next moment. And so today I'm going to share with us some tips to begin having this new mindset of living in heaven and cultivating a field of awareness that reflects our ability to illuminate our pathway in a way that drives out the darkness and to live in a state of illumination so that we light the pathway for ourselves and others and ultimately reflect our innate nature of being a heavenly being. They are this. Get up in the mornings and set your emotions right away. In other words, get up in the morning and choose how you want your day to be. If you don't do that, it ain't going to happen, right? Number 2, find a simple daily routine for focus. I've been making sure that when I wake up in the morning, some of the first things I do are affirm my being, make a decision to see light, choose to see light. And then, of course, I get up and have coffee, and then I stop before we go out, and I literally exchange love with Sweeney. I kiss her on the ears, I kiss her on the mouth, not like in the mouth, but on her face, and rub her hands, all for the purpose of exchanging the energy of love, of giving it so that it may return to me. And so before I step outside into the activity of the day itself, I have framed the state of mind that I want to be in. And there is some support. It says the next one is don't be shy away from seeking support. I believe there is an energetic mental consciousness support that is coming from my four-legged spiritual being. But then so that I'm ready to engage in these other aspects and facets of life and qualities of the design as I step into the life itself, my life. It goes on to tell us that number 4 is to believe in yourself. Believe that you have the power, you have the capacity, you have the energy within you to not only provide for a more positive mental life-affirming shift, but it's happening through you as you, with every thought, every belief, every action, to the best of your ability as you navigate your day. The next is to see and appreciate value. What value? The value that is you. That's the most important. So then stop comparing yourselves to others. Choose to live your life as authentically as possible and honor that authenticity. And the 7th step is continue to learn. Make a decision throughout your day to grow, to learn, to hear something new, to read something new, to perceive something as new, whether, I'm going to back up, as new from a new framework of mind, and to remember that the law of life responds to us by corresponding. So is life all about June gloom? Oh, hell no. It's about June groom. And of course, the blooms that exist in June. They're everywhere. Literally, stop and smell the roses. Have a great day. Jesse's going to come back and sing a fabulous song for us.
Hello. So, I really loved what you said about letting the light shine from you and emanate from you. I have this song called Let the Light Come Through. Let the light come through like a door wide open. Let it all be new. All that once was broken. Let the light come through like a hearth in winter or the June summer. Let it fill the room, ever warm and tender. It lives in me, it lives in you. So let the light come through. Let the light come through like a sacred morning, all hope renewed. See the world transforming, illuminate the places in the dark, and let your life be like a blazing star. Remember that the light is where you are. It lives in me, it lives in you. So let the light come through. Hey, let the light come through. There's no need for hiding. It was always you silver, golden, shining, illuminate the places in the dark. Oh, and let your life be like a blazing star. Remember that the light is where you are. Oh, it lives in me, it lives in you. It lives in me, it lives in you. It lives in me, it lives in you. So let the light come through.
Amazing. Is that an original?
It is.
Yours? Yeah.
Yes.
Ah, just so beautiful.
Thank
So
you.
beautiful. Have you recorded it with tracks behind you?
I have recorded it with another guitar, and it actually got a Posse Award this year.
I'll
So,
bet it did.
yeah.
Yes.
So that was cool. Thank you for
Oh,
your
how good.
inspiring talk. That was awesome.
You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. Well, thank you for being here today.
Of
And
course.
I trust and know that your day ahead is one of fabulousness, right? So that you will just have a great day and your move will be easy and graceful.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. You're welcome. A big thank you, obviously, to Jesse today for being here, and a thank you to each one of you, and a thank you to Travis Smith and to Robert Hensley. And know that the today has certainly been a change. Sorry for hitting the table there. Sorry to today is a day for each one of us to have a new perspective, a new way of viewing the world, and a way of viewing ourselves in the world, and to be kinder and gentler and more loving and compassionate to ourselves and to each other as we navigate this. Feel free to do that. If you'd like to support our community financially, you can go to our website, csl-la.org, click on donate, and that will give you the options to do that, as well as if you'd like to mail in a check, you can do that, and that address for us is indeed on our website, as well as on our app in the App Store, which is Center for Spiritual Living. You can also find all of our information through our website, csl-la.org, or through Facebook and or through YouTube and or Instagram. I believe you can find us there as well. So we are on social media, as well as each Wednesday morning at 8:30 a.m. We gather for our midweek morning meditation, and I invite you to participate in that. We have a newsletter that goes out on Monday morning, and our new thought text for the day each morning at 7:30. Please avail yourself of all of those, as well as share them with friends. I'd like to offer you to do that. And so a big thank you for being here. And if you're on Zoom after our service in just a moment, we'll stay on for a moment if you want to turn your cameras on, and we can each say hello. I'd like to close today by having some background music, the same that we used for our meditation a while ago, and reading to you Spiritual Mind Treatment, an affirmative prayer written by Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of the teaching of the science of mind, in regards to safety and war and prayer for our country. I don't know exactly when it was published, but I invite you to hear these words. They are definitely 20th century metaphysics, I am terminology, a declaration of affirming a spiritual truth. And I was a bit hesitant to even read it today because I know that there's a part of me that I will believe was true for you, that when you hear it, you're like, I don't know if that's possible in today's world. But I really do want us to believe in the possibility of these words being made true, and the power of our word, and to understand that yes, we may be in a different state today of faith than before in regards to this power, but let's all lean back on that and open ourselves up to just the belief that through the statement of these words and all that are stating them right now do invoke healing, which is a revealing of wholeness. And so let's align ourselves with that as we hear these and declare together that it's possible that they can be made manifest. Dr. Holmes writes this: believing in the divine destiny of the United States of America and in the preservation of liberty, security, and self-expression, I offer this prayer for my country. It is this, and when he says I, he's speaking for all of us. I know that divine intelligence governs the destiny of the United States of America, directing the thought and the activity of all who guide its affairs. I know that success, prosperity, and happiness are the gifts of freedom and are the divine heritage of everyone in this country. I know that success, prosperity, and happiness are now operating in the affairs of every individual in this country. I know that divine guidance enlightens the collective mind of the people of this country, causing it to know that economic security may come to all without the loss of either personal freedom or individual self-expression. I know that no one can believe or be led to believe that freedom must be surrendered in order to ensure economic security for all. The all-knowing mind of God contains the answer to every problem which confronts this country. I know that every leader in this country is now directed to this all-knowing mind and has the knowledge of a complete solution to every problem, and each is compelled to act upon this knowledge to the end that abundance, security, and peace shall come to all. And I know that the spiritual democracy shall endure, guaranteeing to everyone in this country personal liberty, happiness, and self-expression. And so it is. We're going to close with Jesse coming on and taking us through the song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. I invite you to sing it to further anchoring in this energy of Dr. Holmes. And that we know that we're agents for change and we use our power for good.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow to take